Hey guys, I'm sorry to say this because I really don't want it to be this way. Let's make that clear. But for the first time, I feel like he's closer to leaving than staying. Lately, things have been happening that worry me and seem to be heading in a certain direction. Hopefully not. We're talking about Vinicius staying at Madrid in the next few days after reaching a renewal agreement with the club, which is what I want. I insist. But I don't know. Things are happening that seem to be related to each other. Apparently, and of course, be a little suspicious, and you'll probably be right because coincidences don't exist. And even less in a world like the market, this absolutely crazy world of football. Uh, Vinicius wanted, and now I'm telling you all this, Arsenal. Diomande in the middle. The same agency, it's called Rock Nation, right? Well, one thing that Cañizares says, yes, Santiago Cañizares, the former Real Madrid goalkeeper back in the day, which isn't bad. He's not too far off. And then Paris showed up, Paris Saint-Germain in the middle, or it seems they've shown up, if you'll pardon the redundancy, kind of out of revenge. Paris Saint-Germain has two scores to settle. One, the Diomande situation, Diomande in recent days, and the other, Mbappe, because Vinicius could pull off a Mbappe. But I'll talk about that in a moment because what I want is, let's go back a bit. Let's go back in time. It's been quite a while. I don't know when. Madrid offered him that renewal. Madrid usually offers renewals well in advance, and Vinicius hasn't accepted it yet. No, I don't want to say a number that's not accurate, but it's been about 2 years, around there, after the Champions League final in 24, right? I think it was around then, but I'm not sure if Madrid had already offered it to him. We all know what happened. Vinicius sees Mbappe join, thinking he hasn't done anything for Madrid, while I've scored in 2 finals and more, yet they're giving him 30 million Madrid. What salary? The salary's half, and the other part is a signing bonus. Well, sell it to me however you want, but in the end, you're giving him almost double what you're giving me. I want the same, right? Either I want the same, or maybe I'll go to another club that offers me the same, because I can leave as a free agent and do the same as Kylian. Of course, that's his right. For some time now, footballers, not all of them, just those who can, have been doing this. They become free agents, and more or less everyone. Because, well, he also became a free agent at the time, and maybe Madrid has done this a lot too. Many times as well. Of course, a signing bonus is reasonable. It's a normal thing, but of course, Mbappe had a crazy signing bonus. Well, Vinicius would probably get the same with another club, right? With Madrid, he basically wants a renewal bonus, which is essentially the same thing, right? But Madrid doesn't see themselves doing that. And then Vinicius, I understand that he doesn't want to do that because he owes Madrid a lot. And those who know him say he always says that, right? He owes a lot to Madrid. He loves them a lot. And he doesn't want to leave Real Madrid for free. But now they're getting in his head from all sides. And maybe Paris Saint-Germain, like I said, is telling him that. But going back to that renewal offer, well, Vinicius back then felt strong. And he said, damn, I'm worth a lot. This other guy comes in, makes twice as much as me, and all that, I'm worth this. Okay, fine. Despite Ballon d'Or disappointment, the club treats Vinicius unlike any player in its history. Everyone was taken off the plane, and he didn't go to the Ballon d'Or. We discussed it. It was awful. And Vinicius says, they're not ready. I'll do it 10 times. And since then, unlike many people, I wouldn't say Vinicius has been terrible these last 2 years. For me, no, not terrible. What happens is that Vinicius's bar was set so insanely high that, of course, even if you're a little lower, you still have very acceptable numbers, but you're not the Vinicius from before. And also, this guy who is hated by his enemies, and even some of those who used to like him because they support Madrid and all that, have started to hate him. Well, then people consider that she's worthless, that she's no good, right? Which is a lie. If we look at the numbers and the actions from these last 2 years and so on, they don't show that at all. But she hasn't achieved her goal of, hey, haven't you increased your value or at least maintained that level in the last 2 years? And then the last card Vinicius had was the World Cup. In the World Cup, I'm going to stand out. And of course, that's when I'll make that leap in quality that makes what I'm asking for make sense. No, but not because of Vinny. Look at him. He started the World Cup really well. We made videos here saying he played well, he's doing fine, and he even scored a goal and was one of the best for Brazil. But Brazil today It seems unbelievable. It is what it is. It is what it is. And no ways out. Let me explain. And of course, Vinicius, damn, I'm left without the last bullet I had. I don't have it anymore. I mean, now even less. Now, Real Madrid is going to say, come on, Vini, I'll pay you 30, right? No, impossible. So either he comes down from the high horse or Madrid is going to look for alternatives. And of course, it has to be this summer. If not now, then when? If not now, then when? It's only this summer. I mean, there's only a month left. A month and a half, there's a month and a half left. That's why I say it's no coincidence everything that's happened in the last few hours. Madrid is going to sign Diomande, even though today Live published a photo of Diomande, kind of throwing people off a bit. But Madrid is going to sign Diomande. Diomande is represented by the agency. It's the same one as Vinny's, the same as Dendrix, by the way, and also the man from... Then the information comes out that Arsenal wants Vinny. At Arsenal, there's Martinelli, whose contract ends in 2027, and it looks like he's going to leave. He also plays in Vinny's position, and that agency represents him too. If there's something agencies love, it's movement. They don't care at all if footballers stay at a club forever. There always has to be movement. And damn, man, this seems like a pretty interesting move to me, right? Several pieces, right? Moving a lot of money. And, well, that's why I say it really looks like that. And then, sure enough, Paris Saint-Germain shows up. Latigo Serrano was saying that he would have told Vinicius, Vinny, hang in there, wanting to. The one about getting back at Real Madrid for the Diomande thing and for the Mbappe thing, Vinny, hang in there. You could pull off an Mbappe in 2027. Of course, there are two forces coming together here. One, the desire that people who know Vinny talk about. Not wanting to mess over Real Madrid. But of course, yes. And as he's actually doing, he's really forcing the issue. That's where it's going. Would he do that to Real Madrid or not anymore? I'm not going to charge anyone else. No, this signing bonus, I'm going to make Real Madrid pay it. And Madrid doesn't want to go along with that because they wouldn't understand paying Vinicius a renewal bonus. Therefore, the thing is, there's only one way out. Either he renews now or he has to leave. Arsenal has seen that they can pay that money to Vinicius, but of course, there's a really tough issue here. And now I'll continue with the Paris Saint-Germain thing. It's related. The money that Arsenal pays to Real Madrid this summer, in case they buy Vinny, is money that Vinicius won't receive from Real Madrid. Starting this January, he already knows he won't be getting it. Nor from a Paris Saint-Germain that has come in here to tell him, I'll pay you. Damn, that's a really tough situation. But if Vinicius clashes, then Vinicius is caught between some very complicated pressures. He really loves Madrid. I don't want to leave for free or anything like that, but of course, if these guys come now to buy me, that's money I don't get. Unless Arsenal agrees to that salary, in which case, look, Madrid wins, I win too, but it's just that it's a lot of money. You pay Vinicius what he wants, which would be a salary like Mbappe's, plus a signing bonus, and giving him that kind of package because it's Vinicius. He couldn't be sold for under 100 million, even with 1 year left, just to give him to Madrid, like the Arsenal deal. It could go for a crazy amount. Those crazy amounts are being paid in England, but anyway. So it's a deal that I see as very difficult. It was the one we talked about with Mbappe, seeing in the summer of 23 when he didn't come. And you said, no, if he wants, then there's the signing bonus. You pay Paris Saint-Germain first, and then also give the player what he asked for. We were getting to amounts where Madrid said, wait, let's wait. We won't sign Kane and we'll wait until Mbappe comes. So here, Arsenal might be thinking the same thing. Damn, do I have to pay this guy what he asked for in Madrid too? I'd rather wait and see if I can convince Vinicius when he's a free agent. And Paris Saint-Germain, yesterday, Menez, who isn't even thinking about signing, now wants to convince him of his very complicated situation. Let us know what you think in the comments. And now I'm going to play you what Cañizares said about this term, because I think it's a very accurate reflection. Cañizares has spent his whole life in football and also has a son who, well, I think he had the same agent, right? I mean, he knows a little bit about how this works. Some people at Madrid dislike Cañizares, but I really like him. Well, honestly, and he said this, and I think it was very well said about this situation. Just a moment, I haven't put up the page for you yet now.
But these kinds of things happen in the club offices. I mean, I don't deal with an agent to sign another player when he's causing me a problem. Big issue here with one of the stars because we still haven't reached an agreement to renew, right? It creates a problem. I repeat, it creates a problem. So to speak, Vinicius has the right not to renew and his agents have the right to demand more, etc., etc. But it doesn't make much sense. If there isn't a parallel operation, either an exit or a renewal for Vinicius, I can't believe that Vinicius hasn't renewed. And that Real Madrid uses his agents to, sign another player through those same agents. I mean, if his agents are causing him a problem, the agents and Vinicius himself, if his contract ends next year without renewal and he becomes a free agent, isn't that a problem for the club? Creating a problem is his right. Look, there is a problem with Vinicius since he doesn't have a valid contract and little time left. I don't understand that if there are ongoing conversations about Vinicius's contract extension, it's always we're about to renew, we're about to renew, we're about to sign, we're about to announce. If the player refuses, despite the obvious interest Real Madrid and the agent should have, now they say, sit down, we're going to talk about something else. I don't believe it. If I trust you enough to sign you, other players, either because Vinicius has renewed or because you're going to move Vinicius out.
Of course. What he's talking about is, on the part of Rock Nation's agency, a way to break the deadlock. Hey, you're not giving Vinicius what he wants, right? The other guy keeps asking me for it. He insists. So let's unlock this. I have him. Do you want him? Okay, wait, because I also have the other guy, Martinelli, and I can move him somewhere else. And then we can work out a complicated 1-for-1 deal, 3 teams in a summer move that makes perfect sense for a player agency. That's exactly what they want. They want the money to move around and for them to get their piece of the pie. Unfortunately, I keep saying, but that's what it looks like. Let me know what you think in the comments. But first, let me make one thing clear. I believe even with Diomande signed, they would still fit well. Recently, I created a lineup. Diomande right, Vinicius left. Diomande is being signed because he has succeeded. He did really well on the right at Leipzig, and then Mbappe up front. But of course, there's another aspect to this. If Vinicius leaves Madrid, I don't know if there are people at the club who would see that as a good thing. In relation to, hey, we get rid of the leadership problem at Madrid, now Mbappe would have undisputed leadership, although I put an asterisk on that. Did you see Bellingham and Mbappe greet each other at the third-place match recently? The relationship between them isn't great right now, but oh well. But maybe Madrid thinks, let's sign a player who's more of an enigma. Currently not as good as Vinicius, but at least we play it safe. And there's another thing. Wait, there's something else here. Wait, this one is important. And Mourinho gets wildly excited about this. And it's the numbers. I hope I have them here. Yes. These are the comparative defensive action numbers for Can Diamant, Kylian Mbappe, and Vinicius. In practically everything, the Ivorian wins defensively since he's a guy who comes back to defend. And Mourinho absolutely loves that. Of course, but I insist, on the right side, but well, it's the same. Mourinho used to say, look, whether I have Vinicius or not, I need one of the forwards to come back and defend and try to convince the others to do the same. I don't know. Well, that's it for now. Hope everything goes well for you. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, hype up the video. See you in the next one. Bye.